I caught them. My brother, my fiancée, Mom's sick plan. The sound of their whispers still haunts me. My mother, coaching my fiancée to betray me with my own brother. I walked into a nightmare that day, but I walked out a different man. This isn't just a story of infidelity. It's about the calculated revenge that followed, leaving no one unscathed. Welcome back, everyone. I'm David, and for too long, I thought I had a handle on my life, my family, and my future. But when betrayal strikes from the people closest to you, you learn that some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal and found the strength to fight back, hit that subscribe button. You're about to witness a tale of vengeance that proves some bonds are made to be broken and some fires are meant to burn. If you told me a year ago that my own mother would conspire with my fiancé to cheat on me with my brother, I would have called you insane. But sometimes the truth surpasses the wildest fiction imaginable. This is the story of how they tried to destroy me and how in the process I destroyed them. My name is David. I'm 31, and I used to think my life was on track. I had a decent job, worked 50 to 60 hours a week, and spent my free time planning a future with my fiancée, Jessica, who was 28. We'd been together for 2 years, engaged for 6 months, and I genuinely believed we were headed toward a perfect wedding. My mother, Patricia, was 55, loud, intense, and had a habit of meddling in everyone's business. As a child, I hadn't realized how controlling she was. I just thought it was normal. Over time, however, I began to see that her brand of love felt more like a chokehold. Her constant interference and manipulative behavior created a persistent undercurrent of unease in my life. Meanwhile, my younger brother, Michael, 29, a personal trainer, loved bragging about his physique.
Michael's got so much potential, Mom used to gush. He's all muscle, you know. He's the real man in this family. She said it jokingly, but I was never entirely convinced it was a joke. Her consistent, subtle favoritism toward Michael, coupled with her pointed criticisms of me, fostered a growing sense of resentment and insecurity. The constant comparisons and veiled insults chipped away at my self-esteem, creating a deep rift between us. I began to notice a pattern. She'd subtly belittle my accomplishments while extravagantly praising Michael's physical attributes, often with a knowing smirk. Jessica and I had a stable, if not always smooth, relationship during those early months. We argued sometimes. Who doesn't? But we shared dreams of a house with a yard, maybe kids someday, and we'd begun wedding planning with cautious optimism. She worked as a teacher's aide, reserved but sweet, the kind of person who doodled hearts on her lesson plans. I suspected nothing, utterly oblivious to the insidious plot unfolding beneath the surface of our seemingly happy lives. Then my mother began making odd remarks about Michael in front of Jessica. One night at a family dinner, about 2 months before everything imploded, Mom turned to Jessica, completely ignoring me. "You know," she said, swirling her glass of wine, "Michael's been working extra hard at the gym lately. Have you noticed his arms? He's become quite the Greek god, always around to help when anyone needs anything. Sometimes a woman needs that strong presence at home." Jessica blinked, obviously uncomfortable. Yeah, I guess he's in good shape," she murmured. I scowled. "Mom, can we not talk about my brother's biceps at the dinner table?" Mom just shrugged, smiling slightly. "I'm just pointing out facts, dear. You shouldn't be so sensitive." It was a small thing, a seemingly innocuous comment, but it planted a seed of unease in me. That was the first time I saw Mom openly directing Jessica's attention to Michael's so-called physical presence, a subtle yet significant manipulation that would have devastating consequences. A few weeks later, I started working even longer hours. I managed a small construction crew, and a series of large projects forced me to clock in before dawn and stay until late.
Jessica and I barely saw each other, except for quick dinners or the occasional Sunday afternoon. She seemed more withdrawn, her phone lighting up constantly with messages. She'd half smile at them. "I'm just texting my friend from work," she'd say. "Don't get paranoid." "Not paranoid," I'd reply. "Just curious. You've been glued to your phone these days." She'd shrug, turning the screen away. "It's nothing important. Wedding stress, you know." That was the first flicker of suspicion that she might be hiding something, but I dismissed it, chalking it up to wedding nerves. My own anxieties about the upcoming wedding, combined with my relentless work schedule, clouded my judgment, preventing me from seeing the truth that lay before my eyes. Meanwhile, my mother's behavior around Jessica escalated from subtle remarks to borderline propaganda. She'd corner Jessica at family gatherings or invite her over to plan wedding details, subtly weaving her manipulative narrative into their conversations. She skillfully exploited Jessica's insecurities, feeding her doubts about our relationship and subtly promoting Michael as a superior alternative. At one point, my dad, more or less Mom's doormat, tried to advise me. "Son," he said, ruffling his thinning hair, "you know how your mother gets. She means well. She just has strong opinions." Strong opinions was an understatement. She had opinions about everything I did, how I dressed, how I spent money, how I was never around, while Michael was the ideal man. Jessica began returning from these visits with Mom looking strangely tense, biting her lip, avoiding eye contact, and sometimes vanishing into the bedroom to read or watch Netflix alone. I didn't push it. Maybe I should have. But I figured, hey, relationships have highs and lows. Everything came crashing down on a day I'll never forget. I finished work early, wanting to surprise Mom and Jessica as they worked on wedding stuff at Mom's house. I pulled up in my old pickup, engine rattling. The window was open. From inside the living room, I heard voices. My mother's voice was clear. "David's just like his father," she said. "Always off working. You'll never see him if you marry him. You need someone who's physically around, who can satisfy all your needs. And let's be honest, Michael's the stronger man." My heart pounded. Then I heard Jessica's voice, quieter. I know David works a lot. I just get lonely. Michael's texted me a few times, but I promise it's not. Mom cut her off. "Don't be ashamed. Michael is everything you need. Let's not pretend David has the time, or the, let's say, vitality to keep you happy. I'm only telling you this because I love you, Jessica. I see how distant David's become. He's never around. Michael, though, he's right here, always willing to help. You deserve that." I felt like the ground fell out from under me. My mother was actively steering my fiancé toward my own brother. Fury pulsed in my veins. I wanted to burst in and start screaming, but I forced myself to stay calm, to gather evidence before I reacted. The betrayal was so profound, so utterly shocking, that I felt numb with disbelief. The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their implications, each syllable a sharp blow to my heart. Then Jessica said something else that made my blood run cold. "He's only texted me a few times, but it's nice to have someone to talk to about daily stuff. Michael told me he's noticed how lonely I seem." That was it. I stepped into the living room. The raw, unfiltered pain was overwhelming. The moment they saw me, Mom's eyes flickered with a fake smile, as if she were greeting a friendly guest. Jessica looked petrified. "So, this is wedding planning, huh?" I said quietly. Mom rose from the couch, lifting her chin. "Someone had to tell Jessica the truth, David. You're never around. Michael can be the partner she really needs." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "You do realize how insane that sounds, right? Encouraging my fiancé to cheat with my brother? You think that's normal?" Jessica tried to intervene. "David, I'm sorry. Mom's been in my ear about this, but it's just texts. Nothing's actually happened. I locked eyes with Jessica. Show me, I repeated, my voice shaking. If it's all innocent, show me your texts with Michael. She clutched her phone. That told me everything. My mother huffed, stepping forward. Don't you dare demand to see her phone, Mom snapped. That's controlling, and Michael would never stoop to that. He respects women's boundaries. The irony was staggering. This was the same woman who read my dad's emails behind his back every single morning. The hypocrisy was breathtaking, the sheer audacity of her actions leaving me speechless with shock and anger. I walked out without another word, my entire body trembling. Jessica followed me to the driveway, tears streaking her cheeks, babbling about how she was confused, used. Your mom got in my head, she sobbed. I promised to delete Michael's number. I promised it meant nothing. But it was too late. She'd revealed her willingness to consider my own brother as a backup option, spurred on by my mother's manipulative machinations. The realization struck me with brutal force. My fiancée had not only betrayed me, but she had actively participated in a plan orchestrated by my own mother. The depth of their treachery was beyond comprehension. When we got home, I saw 6 missed calls from Michael, a single text. We need to talk, bro. I laughed bitterly. Then Mom called, leaving a voicemail. David, you're overreacting. Jessica is still a good woman and you need to calm down. Michael is just being supportive. Don't throw her away just because you're paranoid. Paranoid? She practically set them up. My father called too with his usual half-hearted peacemaking. Son, you know how your mother is. She doesn't think before she speaks. Give Jessica another chance. I was done. That night, Jessica slept in the guest room saying she needed time to think. I laughed bitterly. Time to text Michael more like. Over the next few days, things spiraled. Jessica grew distant, going out more often under the guise of girls' nights. My mother started sending me messages laced with guilt trips. You're going to lose a wonderful woman if you keep pushing her away with your suspicion. I wasn't sure whether to end the engagement on the spot or gather more proof. I was caught in a swirl of shock, anger, and heartbreak. The weight of the situation pressed down on me, threatening to crush me beneath its immense pressure. My world had been shattered, and I was struggling to pick up the pieces. One Thursday night, Jessica claimed she was meeting her old friend Amber for drinks. Something felt off. She dressed up more than usual, wore a perfume I recognized as Michael's favorite scent, because I'd once seen him comment on it online. My blood boiled, so I did something I'm not proud of. I hopped in my truck, drove to Michael's apartment complex, and parked at a corner where I could see the visitor lot. Sure enough, there was Jessica's car. Heart hammering, I waited. 20 minutes later, I glimpsed them through Michael's ground floor window, Jessica curled against him, heads close together, watching something on his laptop. My stomach churned. I marched to the door and banged. They opened it, looking flushed and guilty. Michael was in one of his tight compression shirts, an attempt to show off his bulging arms. Jessica wore the outfit I'd bought her for her last birthday. How long? I said. Michael lifted his hands defensively. Bro, calm down. We can talk about this like adults. How long? Jessica sniffled, tears brimming. 2 months, she whispered. It just happened. You're always working late and Michael understands me better. Mom said. I let out a harsh laugh. Mom said? So now you're on a first-name basis with my mother, colluding behind my back? My own brother? Wow, you two are a piece of work. Michael scowled, stepping forward as if to block me. You don't talk to her like that. You neglected her. She came to me for help. Help with what exactly? I snapped. Her moral bankruptcy? He lunged at me, swinging a fist, always the hothead.
I blocked his arm and shoved him backward. He tripped over his weight bench and crashed into the couch. "You piece of garbage," I hissed. "You try to steal my fiancé, and then you try to start a fight the moment I confront you?" I pulled out my phone, scrolled to Mom, and hit speaker. She picked up. "David, why are you calling now?" "It's late." I cut right to the chase. "Tell me, Mother, why are you so proud that Michael's hooking up with Jessica behind my back? Go ahead, enlighten him." Her laugh was a quiet, chilling chuckle. "Honey, I tried to warn you. Michael's just more suitable for Jessica. She deserves a real man who's present, who can excite her. You're never home, just like your father." I hung up, stuffing the phone in my pocket. The family group chat exploded that night, with Mom spinning the story that I'd attacked Michael out of nowhere. My father tried to pacify me with calls. "Son, Mom's just worried about Jessica's happiness. Don't you think you've been overreacting?" Overreacting? My fiancé was hooking up with my brother because my mother told her he was the stronger man. That was apparently my fault. Jessica came home the next day while I was at work, packed up all her stuff, some of which I had bought, and left her ring on the kitchen counter. A single note read, "I never meant to hurt you. I hope one day you can forgive me." That was it. 2 years together, thrown away for a man whose only virtues were a six-pack and an endless supply of artificially sweetened protein shakes. Mom called me that evening gloating. "Don't make this ugly, David. Accept that Michael and Jessica are happier together. I'm sure you'll find someone else eventually." I wanted to scream, but a cold anger took hold. They expected me to just roll over and accept a new family dynamic. Michael and Jessica arm in arm, me relegated to the corner as the workaholic ex. They thought I'd come to holiday dinners, say, "no hard feelings," and grin while they played house. "You have no idea what you've done," I said quietly into the phone. Mom sniffed. "Stop being dramatic. I tried to do what's best for Jessica and for our family. Michael's the right choice." Click. I hung up, a storm of rage and betrayal swirling. Over the next few weeks, the entire fiasco spilled across our extended family. My mother championed the new couple, inviting them over for dinners as though they were already married. My father, spineless as ever, said nothing. My sister, who lived out of state, called me in disgust, offering her couch if I needed to escape. "I don't know how to fix this," I admitted to her. "They're flaunting it. Michael's texting me. Jessica's posting cryptic social media quotes about following your heart, and Mom's basically encouraging them." My sister sighed. "You can't fix it, but you don't have to let them walk all over you either. You do what you have to do." I took that to heart. If they wanted a war, they'd get one. I was done being the victim. In that moment, the last shred of guilt or heartbreak burned away. What emerged was a villain, a darker version of myself, determined to tear down the illusions they'd built. I started digging. Michael's personal training business was an online hustle. He sold fitness programs, custom protein blends, and bragged about how well he was doing. But a friend of mine, Patrick, hinted that Michael was cutting corners, possibly reselling cheap or expired supplements under fancier labels. "He's basically rebottling them in his garage," Patrick told me. "You can smell the rancid powder from outside." I felt a sick thrill. This could be my first step. I spent nights compiling screenshots of Michael's social media where he boasted about cash-only deals and tax-free profits. I bookmarked shady messages he'd posted in local fitness groups about secret formula blends. Simultaneously, I looked into my mother's real estate dealings. Nancy was proud of being a top agent, but I knew she had a reputation for stepping on toes. I found suspicious 5-star reviews on her business page from accounts that looked suspiciously fake. Usernames with random numbers, barely any activity, possibly purchased reviews. I wasn't sure how to use all this yet,
but I stored it meticulously. If they wanted to ruin my life, I'd return the favor, legally. One Sunday, Dad insisted on a family meeting to address the tension. I agreed to come, purely to see if more opportunities for sabotage would present themselves. I arrived to find Mom, arms folded, face stern. Michael and Jessica sat side by side on the couch, like a smug power couple. Dad hovered by the doorway, looking hapless. "All right," Dad began, clearing his throat. "We need to settle this. David, can't you see? You're tearing the family apart with your anger, and Nancy—" Mom raised a hand dismissively at Dad. "Let me handle this," she snapped. "David, your father and I think you should respect Jessica's decision. If she's happier with Michael, that's that. As for you, maybe focus more on your job, or find a new hobby. You'll move on in time." I stared at her, a slow smile tugging at my lips. "I see. So you want me to just accept that my fiancé found a stronger man in my own brother, and we'll all pretend this is normal?" Jessica's eyes flickered with guilt, but she quickly masked it. "Look, you were working all the time, David. I felt alone. Mom and Michael just helped me see that I wasn't getting what I needed." "I'm sorry if you feel betrayed, but this is where I belong now." Michael smirked, crossing his arms over his chest. "Yeah, bro. Maybe if you'd tried a little harder to show up for her, none of this would have happened." My fists clenched. "What about your responsibility, you traitorous bastard? You flirted with her behind my back for months." "That's all on me, too," he said, rising from the couch, puffing up like he always did. "Watch your mouth, man. I won't let you talk to me like that." "I can talk how I want," I said softly, "because you're the one who destroyed our relationship, and so did you, Jessica. Don't pretend you're innocent." Mom stepped between us, wagging a finger. "Stop it, you two. Michael is right. If you had been a better partner, Jessica wouldn't have strayed. You think working 60 hours a week makes you a good man?" I laughed, a hollow, dangerous sound. "Yes, Mom, I do. Because I was paying for our future. Maybe I don't have big biceps and an Instagram following, but I have dignity, unlike all of you." Tension boiled. My father tried to intervene, flustered. "Now let's all just calm," Michael snapped. "Shut up, Dad. You're the reason David turned out weak." Time slowed. My father's eyes turned dark, hurt shining through. It was the first time I'd ever seen him respond to an insult like that. But I didn't let him speak. I wanted them all to see the new me, the man who wouldn't be kicked to the curb. "You know what?" I said, stepping back with a smirk. "I'm done. I wish you two, the unstoppable couple, a lifetime of therapy bills. And you, Mom, enjoy your illusions. I'm out." Before Michael could throw another punch, I turned on my heel and walked out, Dad calling after me in vain. The next day, I launched my counterattack. I anonymously sent a tip to the state's Consumer Health Department about possibly expired supplements being repackaged for sale by one Michael, last name. I included screenshots of his social media boasting about underground deals and never paying taxes. I also compiled an anonymous report to the local real estate board, flagging a suspicious cluster of 5-star reviews on Mom's profile. I attached an IP analysis from a tech-savvy buddy, which suggested those accounts likely came from the same device. "You sure about this?" Patrick asked, seeing how deep I was going. I nodded, jaw clenched. They destroyed me. Now it's their turn to watch everything burn. It didn't take long for the dominoes to fall. First, Michael's certification was suspended, and his gym fired him after rumors spread that he was selling expired supplements. Furious, he ranted online about haters trying to ruin him. Mom doubled down, calling me envious and pitiful. She posted a cryptic Facebook message. "Some people sabotage others out of jealousy," family whispered, suspecting me but having no proof. Michael's downfall was swift. His high-paying clients fled.
The money dried up and he broke his lease. He moved back in with Mom. Meanwhile, the real estate board found more than bad reviews: missing inspections, rushed closings, and shady deals. Clients backed out. Her broker put her on probation, and Mom's perfect image crumbled. She blamed family betrayal online. Jessica, who saw Michael as a strong alpha, realized too late she had bet on a sinking ship. His income was gone, his reputation destroyed. He couldn't even afford their planned getaway. She started missing my life, where the bills were paid and the fridge was full. A week later, Jessica had the audacity to text me, "David, I'm sorry. Everything's so messed up. I wish it didn't end like this. Maybe we could talk?" I typed a response. "Busy. Good luck with your new strong man." Then I blocked her. Dad, still trying to keep the peace, invited me to a family dinner. The nerve. I decided to go. I had to show off my new calm. I had to watch them squirm. By then, I'd snagged a promotion at work. Supervisor, with a pay raise plus a company truck. I brought a date. Zoe, a sweet, no-nonsense receptionist from my gym who knew all about the drama. She agreed to come for moral support and maybe a little entertainment. When we walked into Mom's house, the tension felt suffocating. Michael glared, sporting a scowl that only deepened when he saw Zoe. Jessica stood near the kitchen island, fiddling with a glass of wine, eyes flicking anxiously between me and Michael. My mother set plates down with too much force, trying to remain composed. "David," she said stiffly, "you brought a guest." I slipped an arm around Zoe's waist. "Yes, this is Zoe." "She's been wonderful company." Zoe gave a polite smile, but the gleam in her eyes said she was ready for a show. Dad cleared his throat. "Let's sit down. We have so much to catch up on." We took seats around the old wooden table. For a moment, nobody spoke. My mother forced an ingratiating smile. "So, you look well, David. I heard about your new position." I smirked. "You heard right. Supervisor, decent raise, a truck. It's nice not being anchored by drama." Michael's jaw tightened. He said nothing, swirling water in a cheap plastic cup. He looked pitiful, wearing old sweatpants. He'd lost the sleek apartment, the gym job, the brand deals. Jessica's eyes flitted over me. "I'm happy for you," she ventured weakly. Zoe didn't hesitate. "He earned it," she said. "He works really hard, but I guess some people only appreciate that once it's gone." An icy hush followed. Finally, Mom tried to pivot. "So, Michael, how's the new job hunt? Any luck?" He grunted. "Not really." "My certification is suspended for 2 years, thanks to some snitch." He stared directly at me. "You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you, bro?" I raised an eyebrow. "You think I have time to worry about your shady business? I've got a real job." He slammed his fist on the table, rattling the silverware. "You sabotage me and then act innocent. You're a real piece of work." "If what you were doing was legal," I said calmly, "there'd be nothing to report. Don't blame the messenger." Mom hissed. "Enough! I told you both to stop fighting. We're still a family. Stephen, you need to apologize for meddling in your brother's affairs." I laughed. "Meddling? Like how you meddled with my fiancée, hooking her up with your favorite son? Sure, let's call that meddling." Mom sniffed, tears forming. "David, I didn't mean to hurt you. I just felt neglected, and Michael was there." Zoe cut in. "Stop playing the victim, Jessica. You made a choice. Now deal with the consequences." That's when Michael lost it. He lunged across the table, knocking over a glass of water. Zoe yelped, leaning back. I stood quickly, bracing for impact. He tried to swing, but he was off balance. My father had moved to intervene. Michael's fist caught the edge of a decorative bowl, and he tumbled forward, face smashing into the coffee table behind us. Blood trickled from his nose. "You maniac!" Mom shrieked, pointing at me. "He's bleeding because of you? Because of me?" I said, stepping away. "He tried to punch me, remember?" Dad's face was purplish, eyes bulging. "Everybody out! I'm done with this nonsense! Nancy, get him to the bathroom! Jessica, help Zoe! David, maybe it's best you go!" Jessica followed us partway to the door, tears streaming down her face. "This isn't what I wanted," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. I responded with cold disdain, my expression unyielding. "You made your bed, Jessica. Now sleep in it." We left, ignoring the cacophony of Mom shrieking orders at Dad to retrieve towels. In the days following that disastrous dinner, the final pieces of my plan fell into place. Michael sustained a minor nasal fracture, but that was inconsequential compared to the larger issues he faced. His unlicensed supplement business came under intense scrutiny after the health department discovered expired inventory in his garage. Complaints from disgruntled former clients began flooding social media. Some reported feeling nauseous after using his so-called premium blends. The gym blacklisted him, rendering him unemployable at any reputable establishment. Mom's reputation suffered a series of devastating blows. Numerous positive online reviews vanished, flagged as fraudulent. A competitor even posted a local news article about a realtor forging reviews, subtly implicating Nancy in the scheme. Her broker severed ties, leaving her adrift despite possessing substantial inherited wealth. The real estate empire she'd painstakingly built began to crumble under the weight of scandal and investigation. Jessica initially attempted to stand by Michael, but as mounting bills revealed his lack of financial stability, her illusions shattered. The big muscles and cocky charm couldn't pay the rent. Frustration boiled over, leading her to confide in mutual friends about Michael's erratic behavior and increasingly aggressive outbursts. That's when the barrage of phone calls started. One morning, I awoke to 19 missed calls from Michael. A voicemail message followed. "Pick up, you coward! I know it was you who ratted me out. You can't do this to family!" A text from Lynn followed. "We need to talk. I'm so sorry. I miss you." Mom's text was more accusatory. "David, enough is enough. You're tearing this family apart. You got Michael fired, you humiliated me, and for what?" "Are you that petty?" I let the calls go unanswered, reading the texts with a grim, self-satisfied smile. They had once scoffed at me, expecting me to submit. Now they were desperately scrambling to salvage what remained. Dad invited me over, claiming he wanted a man-to-man talk. Out of curiosity, I accepted. I found him alone in the living room while Mom, Michael, and Jessica huddled in the kitchen, presumably strategizing their next move. Dad looked weary, his shoulders slumped. "Son," he began, his voice heavy with regret. I never stood up for you enough, did I?" I shrugged, unconcerned with his belated apologies. "Let's skip the regret, Dad. I'm fine." He sighed, his gaze distant. "Your mother pushed Jessica into that relationship with Michael, but you've destroyed them financially. Is that really what you want?" I stared at him, my expression unwavering. "They tried to destroy me. I simply showed them the consequences of their own actions." He rubbed his temples, clearly distressed. "Your mother is losing everything she's worked for. Michael might face legal charges if those clients sue. Lynn? Well, she's miserable. Don't you feel even a little pity?" I snorted derisively. Pity for the people who shattered my engagement, lied to me, and humiliated me? No, this is justice. Before Dad could respond, the kitchen door swung open, revealing Mom, Michael, his nose still bandaged, and Jessica. "We need to settle this once and for all," Mom declared, arms crossed defiantly. "David, You're going to call off whatever you did to sabotage us, or else—" I cut her off, my voice sharp and unwavering. "Or else what? Complain to the police that I told the truth. If Michael was innocent, the investigation wouldn't have gone anywhere. If your real estate record was spotless, nobody would believe the complaints. You did this to yourselves." Michael glared, fists clenched. "You're a snake. You think you're better than me, huh? Because you work some construction job? Because you got a stupid promotion?" I smirked, a chilling smile playing on my lips. Better? No, just smarter, apparently. Jessica took a shaky step forward, her voice barely a whisper. "David, I just want to apologize. I realize now that your mother manipulated me." Mom whirled around, her anger flaring. "Don't blame me," she snapped. "You wanted a stronger man and you chose Michael. We had an understanding." Lynn's eyes widened, tears welling. "I was confused," she confessed, her voice trembling. "You kept telling me I deserved better, that David would never be around. I made a mistake." My voice dripped with sarcasm. "A mistake? Stealing from my apartment, lying for months, texting my brother behind my back and laughing about it with my mother." "That's more than a little oopsie, Jessica." Jessica sobbed, pressing a hand to her mouth. Michael turned on her, his voice venomous. "You see what you did?" he spat. "You're the one who said yes to me in the first place. Don't act like you're innocent," Mom hissed, her voice cutting through the turmoil. "Stop fighting, you two. David is the real enemy here. He's systematically tearing us down just because we found happiness that didn't involve him." Happiness. I almost laughed. They were drowning in debt, fines, and tarnished reputations. Some happiness. I shook my head, stepping away from the escalating confrontation. "I'm not here for your lecture," I stated coldly. "I came to tell Dad I'm done with all of you. No more calls, no more messages. You get nothing from me." Michael hurled one last, desperate insult. "Go to hell, you heartless bastard!" I looked at him, my eyes devoid of warmth. "I've already been there, courtesy of you and Mom. Now you can enjoy your stay." With that, I stormed out, ignoring the escalating chaos and crashing sounds behind me. The next morning, I learned from a friend that Michael had attempted to borrow money from several people, all of whom refused once they learned of the scandal surrounding him. Jessica was job hunting in another district, hoping to escape the local gossip. Mom's real estate deals continued to implode. My life, however, took a sharp upswing. I channeled my rage into my career, earning even greater respect. Hard times breed strong men, and I became exactly what my mother had claimed I wasn't, just not for her or Jessica. I was building a future free from their control. A week later, Jessica emailed me a lengthy apology, filled with regret. "You were always stable," she wrote. "I was foolish to listen to Nancy. Michael isn't who I thought he was." I deleted the email without replying. Some might call me a villain. Perhaps they're right. I used legitimate channels to expose them, using the truth as my weapon, but my motive was vengeance. I wanted them to suffer, and they did. Does that make me the bad guy? Possibly. But my mother gave my fiancé to my brother. Michael stole what wasn't his, and Jessica abandoned her morals for a stronger man. So yes, I became a villain, their villain. Watching them lose everything built on lies was the sweetest justice. They wanted a stronger man, I told Patrick over beers, recounting the events. So I became one, just not how they expected. He grinned, clinking his glass against mine. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting them destroy themselves. Months have passed since the final confrontation. Michael is blacklisted from the fitness world, banned from training for 2 years. Mom's real estate empire is crumbling. Her broker dropped her,
Her office shut down for code violations, and lawsuits loom. Jessica vanished from social media, likely attempting to escape the fallout. Dad is finally seeing Mom's manipulative nature. He quietly admitted he's considering separation, claiming life with Nancy is suffocating. I almost pity him, but that's his fight, not mine. I moved out of the old apartment. Too many memories lingered within those walls. My new place is larger, with space for a home office. The promotion is secure, and I've been spending time with Zoe, the gym receptionist who despises men like Michael. She's no saint, but she's real, and that's enough. Do I regret the sabotage? Maybe. But then I remember finding Jessica in my brother's bed, hearing my mother celebrate my betrayal. Some lines once crossed can't be unforgiven. They say villains think they're heroes. I don't need to be a hero. I took down the people who deserved it. My mother, my brother, and the fiancé who chose them over me, and I sleep just fine knowing I delivered their downfall.
They wanted a real man, they got one. Just not the one they expected.